Hello, Cubs. And before we start today's shared reading of The Cook and the King, I wanted to take a pause because I asked you to really think back about the whole book and think about some more character traits for the cook, or Wobbly Bob. His name's Wobbly Bob. So, what is something else besides just nervous? And I did ask for character traits, and I think that a lot of us are still struggling with what is a trait and what is an emotion. Again, emotion is a feeling. So if you would say, I wouldn't say, I feel nice. That's not usually what you would say. You would say, I feel good, or I feel happy. Like, you wouldn't say, I feel active. That's probably not something you would say. I feel impulsive. Those are things that you normally say you feel. Like, you wouldn't even usually say, I feel helpful. It's not like something you would say to somebody. You say, I am being helpful, right? So that might be, maybe that's a hint. If you would say, now we do say, I feel nervous. We say, I feel nervous. But, you know, I put that down because that's what you guys said. So you can say, I feel nervous. But in general, if you would say, and it sounds normal to say, I feel this, and it's something that you would say and have said like a lot, then that is probably an emotion. And if you just said, and if you would normally say, I am, like, and you say it like, I'm a blank person, I'm a nice person, I'm a helpful person. You wouldn't necessarily say, I guess you would say I'm a happy person. But I'm trying to think of a way that I can help you better understand and tell the difference between a trait and an emotion. Besides just saying that traits don't change, and emotions change often, and emotions are how you're feeling. So when we say, like, not like most of you, so many of you said he worries, he's worried. Lou said he's worried. Mason says he's worried. Sarvan says he worries. Trinity says he worries. Diley says he worries. Ion says he's worried and scared. And Nishvita says he's scared. All of those are feelings. A person who is a scared person all the time, we would say they're not being brave. They're not a brave person, right? We would say they were cowardly. Cowardly is somebody who's the opposite of brave. So that, if you're trying to say scared, oh, you're a scared person, like he's scared all the time, then you would say that he is, what I just said, Miss Kimber just had a brain fart, sorry. So then you would not say that you would say that he's cowardly. All right? That is the character trait for somebody who's always scared. Cowardly. Like, you're not brave. Okay? That's kind of, so I'll put cowardly down. You're not brave, because he is cowardly. And that's probably a better word than nervous, if we're being honest. And the other word, and I do want to put skeptical. So Shreya and Shreya and Shannon, Shreya and Kaden had some interesting words. Shreya said skeptical, and skeptical means like you're not a believer. You don't believe in things. So I don't think that's quite the word that she means. I think that she and Kaden are trying to get to the same word. They just don't know the exact word that they're trying to get to. Because, so Shreya said skeptical, and again, that's a person who doesn't believe in things easily. Is all like, Miss Candleberry is a pretty skeptical person. And then Kaden said hypochondriac. And a hypochondriac is a person who always thinks they're sick even though they're not. So those are both really close to this thing. And I'm going to tell you, it's called paranoid. Somebody who is paranoid, and I know that that's what Kaden meant because I actually talked to her on the phone yesterday. Somebody who is paranoid is somebody who is always worried about that things are going to happen, that they're not going to happen. It's like if you're paranoid, you might be like, oh my gosh, like Miss Candleberry, I love her to death, but my grandma Get was very paranoid. So, like, she wouldn't drive, this is a true story, she wouldn't drive over a bridge because she was afraid that her car might, like, something might happen to her car and she would lose control of the car and go off the side of the bridge. Do you think that would happen? like, do you think that that happens most of the time? No, it almost never happens. But my grandma was paranoid. She was worried about something that was most likely never going to happen. It's like a person who, like, is worried they're going to get attacked by a shark when they go play in the ocean. That's most likely not going to happen. And if they're worried about a lot of stuff that's not going to happen, we call them paranoid. Like, is it likely that Wobbly Bob's going to have ants and worms that go into its pants? Is it likely that Wobbly Bob, what's one of the other things that he worries about? He worries about so much. Is it worried that he is going to, what is he worried about? Oh, a shark's going to come and get it in this little net. He's worried about that? No, that's not really. So paranoid, I think, is the word that a lot of us are trying to get at. That word. Bratty is the word that Tanisha and I on both said bratty. And I would say, I don't think he's necessarily bratty. Bratty is like somebody who is, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to explain. Not like necessarily like annoying. It's somebody who is like, it's so hard to think of a way to describe bratty. A brat is not a nice person. A brat is like somebody who purposely, it's kind of like a badly behaved person. Like if somebody's really badly behaved, you could kind of think of them like they're a badly behaved kind of person. Or they think that kind of like, if you've seen, on a lot of like movies that you guys will see, there's going to be a lot of times there's a kid who almost always they're a kid who has a lot of money. If you think of a TV show you like, it's like a kid who has a lot of money, who's really snotty. He is usually a girl, but she or he is like really stuck up, and they're kind of mean. That person is bratty, who thinks that they like should get everything. That's what you would consider a brat. I don't think that he's really being a bratty. I just think that he's like cowardly. He's paranoid, and you might say that he is particular, meaning, particular means you like something like you like things a very certain way, because he's so worried about his clothes. He's so worried about the way that his clothes look. So you might say that he's like particular because he doesn't want to get dirty, that kind of thing. So these are really more character traits for Wobbly Bob. I feel like a lot of this was, again, that we couldn't get to the word that we meant. I felt like when we said nervous, we really meant cowardly, right? That he was scared all the time, that he was not brave. And I feel like paranoia is what you guys are trying to get to with most of the things that you've written down. So when you're like worried, I feel like that's when you're trying to get to paranoid. Worried, too worried, hypochondriac, I think you're trying to get to paranoid. In particular is what I think that you're trying to get to when you say that he's bratty. So those are the character traits, and that's kind of what you mean. But I want you to really remember these words, because while they are big words, it's always good to have more vocabulary, right? More words that you know. And now that you know these words, just like now you know the word impulsive and active, now that you know these words, when you are talking about characters in the future, you're going to know what character traits, you're going to know what paranoid means. You're going to be like, that guy's paranoid. He's worried about all kinds of stuff that's never going to happen. So let's continue our reading. Ooh, that's really sticky. Let's continue our reading, all right, of our book. And, yeah, all right, here we go. Get that king and that Wobbly Bob and that narrator voice ready. "I'll help you dig," said the hungry king. And so he dug and he dug like anything. Then he said to the cook as he licked his lips, "Chop these potatoes into chips." Oh, you can't see that. "Chop these potatoes into chips." And here's the picture. Look how happy the cat is. "Help," said the cook. "I'm feeling scared. I'd love to chop if only I dared, but knives are sharp and I might get hurt. I might get blood on my nice new shirt. My heart is thumping," the cook declared. I'm scared, I'm terribly scared." This is going to be a fun book to read together. tomorrow. Ooh, here we go. I'll help you chop, said the hungry king. So he chopped and he chopped like anything. Then he said to the cook who was standing by, out with the pan, it's time to fry. Oh, happy. He does look really happy there. Help, said the cook. I'm feeling scared. I'd love to fry if only I dared, but oil can splutter and spit and splat. A drop might land on my nice new hat. My teeth are rattling, the cook declared. I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm terribly scared. Yeah, I would look that way too. Oh, why are you so afraid of everything? Here we go. I'll help you fry, said the hungry king. So he fried and he fried like... So he fried and he fried like anything. Ooh. Here, let me back up my computer. That'll help. Then he set the table and took a seat and said to the cook, it's time to eat. Good, said the cook, and the two men shared. What great cooking, the king declared. Well chopped chips, what well fried fish. All in all, a delicious dish. It tastes just right, said the full-up king. And he smiled like anything. Congratulations, Wobbly Bob. You may be a wimp, but you've got the job. Now, today, good job with your shared reading. Today, I want you to decide, would you have hired Wobbly Bob? So tell me yes or no, should the king have hired Wobbly Bob and why? The other thing I want us to remember is that tomorrow at 1 o'clock on Microsoft Teams, we're going to do shared reading. We're doing it at 1 o'clock because Miss Candleberry has a meeting with our Cool, Daring, and Excellent. We are going to meet at 11:30 on Microsoft Teams to talk about our character trait charts that we did for Copper and Fred. And we're going to meet together with us, but we're going to also have a couple of kids from other classes join us, okay? So, and maybe a couple of teachers, who knows? So we're going to meet for that, all right? Let me know again in the comments section, should the king have hired Wobbly Bob? Why or why not? All right? Great job, guys.